Hi, this is Ivey, the fulfillment artist. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to cultivate great relationships. So, why is this so important at the moment? Well, the time of year is near Christmas, so we tend to spend a lot of time with family and friends. But it's important that we really cultivate a good relationship with not only friends, but also our family. So in this video, I'm going to focus on how do we build better relationships with our friends in this time and moving forward thereafter. The first thing is we need to move away from surface level connections. So what is a surface level connection? Well, if you've been to any of my seminars or watching these videos for a while, you'll know that a surface level connection is where you've made an acquaintance with someone, you know who they are, but that's pretty much it. And what tends to happen is we spend a lot of time with these surface level connections where we don't really know anything about them except what they do. We have fun with them, but we don't know any of their problems, any of their challenges. We have no idea, who they spend time with, like what's really going on in their life. It's very much on the surface and there's no depth. So if you're going to cultivate a great relationship, you've got to be moving away from those types of relationships and moving on to something different. Number two, become interested in them. So it's important that you start to become interested in other people if you want to cultivate great relationships. The truth is, we love people that admire us and are interested in us. And it's true that we are attracted to people that are similar to us. And if you've got similar interests, and if someone is actually interested, right, in what you do, you become interested in them, right? You build rapport. So what I can say is actually become interested in other people. Because if you can start asking those questions and understanding them, reciprocity will naturally occur and you'll be able to build that relationship. Next, build fun memories together. So why is that important? Because life is about having fun and enjoying memories. Okay, so build memories together, do new things, be spontaneous, and actually create lasting memories with people instead of doing the same mundane thing over and over again. Right? The truth is, if you look at your life and you think about, okay, well, how do you live a long life? The way you live a long life is through actually creating memorable events. Right? Because if I asked you, what did you have for breakfast, 10 days ago? You've got no idea. Probably 9 days ago, 8 days ago, you still don't know, unless you have the same thing for breakfast every day, in which case, okay, you win. But the truth is unless something's there with emotion, you're doing something new, you don't really remember it. And that's why when we, let's say you're working at a job or you've got the same business and you're doing the same things over and over again. If you don't have any variety or there isn't any sort of new things coming up, even though at the time it seems slow, looking back, you're like, where did that go? Those 3 months, I can't even remember them because you did the same thing all the time. So it's really important to be able to build those fun memories. Next, be a positive influence. Right? We love it when people are positive around us. Because if you're positive, it means it's uplifting, we enjoy it. We don't want those soul-sapping creatures, right? In the negativity videos, I talk about this, right? You want to be a positive influence, uplifting everyone around you. So think, how could I be more of a positive influence on this person at the moment? Next, you've got to build trust over time. So what do I mean by this? Well, for a lot of people, they expect that things are instant, right? They can get things off Taobao, off Amazon instantaneously. And we are in a world where we want things instantly, but trust isn't like that. Trust takes time. I would equate it to the analogy of putting money into a bank account, right? You're putting in deposits. It's the same with relationships and friendships. What you're doing is over time, you're building that trust. Right? If you say you're going to do something, you do it. And if you do this over a period of time and you build up that relationship, then you're going to cultivate a really great relationship. But it takes time. So building that trust is important. So think about, if you haven't been trusting, how can you sort of renew that trust? And what are the things that you can do to actually have a much more trusting relationship? Right? I have a friend in Shanghai and he was saying, oh, I've got a really, really great friend. And I was like, okay, how's he a great friend? And he's like, oh, well, we see each other, we have great time. I was like, okay. I was like, isn't that the guy that cancelled on you 3 or 4 times so far? He's like, yeah, he does that. That's not a friendship. If you keep cancelling on people or changing plans, that's not where that true friendship is. Instead, it's just an acquaintance. So make sure that you are true to your word and you're a trustworthy person for people. Next, and this is almost one of the most important points, is be vulnerable. So why is it important? Because if you're going to build great relationships and cultivate them, you have to be vulnerable with other people. Because as you open up and you're vulnerable with them, it gives them the opportunity to be vulnerable with you. They can open up, they can share, and you'll probably have much more in common than, just focusing on other things, right? Talk about the problems that you're facing or the challenges. And my guess is you probably will have no idea what's been happening to these other people. I mean, I remember opening up to someone when I was based in San Francisco, and he told me things that I had no idea, like, that he has family in jail, that he's got all these things, and this is a very, very successful business owner. But it's only through sharing and being vulnerable that you have those sorts of conversations, which you won't forget, and that's where you get a really lasting relationship. Next is value friendship over being right. This is important because sometimes what happens is there's some sort of miscommunication, whatever it is, and then you both have alternate points of view. And you both want to be right? It's our ego speaking. And instead, you've got to be able to let go and say, okay, look, I value this friendship. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. And for the guys listening to this, when you say I'm sorry and you're wrong, most likely the other person will say I'm sorry, right? I remember, in sort of any relationship, right, that you have, like let's say this is a girl and a guy. I know I'm moving off friendships, but it's an important example. Like let's say you're having an argument and then you say, oh, I'm wrong. And then my girlfriend goes, oh no, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But you've got to take that step down as opposed to always wanting to be right. And that way you can really, really move forward with your relationship. Now, the last thing I wanted to say is this is just a word of caution. And this is that a relationship and in a friendship scenario has to be a two-way street. Okay? If you're putting in all the effort and you're really building this relationship and you put all this into to build that really great friendship, okay, and you're the one who's always making the effort, right? That may not be the best friendship to keep because it's a lot of energy on your side of things. You want it to be a two-way street. And I've had people where, they're great people, but I'm always and always and always going out of my way. And instead, there's billions of people on this planet. There are people that also will reach out to you and do other things and invite you to things. So it's important that you are just aware of those friendships. So with that, I hope that you can cultivate some awesome relationships in your life. It's so important to have a strong base of friendships, like your growth friends. I can't tell you how important that is. Have an incredible Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time and spend it with family and friends. I'll speak to you next week.